Hey guys, welcome to As I Knew Him. Many of you may have known Brian as a friend, a cousin, a son, a musician, a jokester, all of these amazing titles, right? But he was so much more and so much bigger and impacted so many lives.
Right, and it's such an honor for us to do this video to keep his memories alive.
So, going into our portion of As We Knew Brian, I knew Brian as pretty much a jokester. I'm really kind of upset that I ain't got nobody to cook my chicken wings on the grill no more and lick their hand from the raw meat to taste the seasoning. I'm really kind of upset about that, Will. I'm really upset about it.
Right, and, like I said, it was a lot of people that knew Brian, but not as well as we did. And, he was kind of, silent if you really didn't know him, but Brian was a big jokester. This one time I had asked Brian, I said, hey, Brian, man, I need somebody for this part. He was like, I'll do it. I said, you know how to act? Yeah, I got it. And he actually, knew what he was doing. So, that's just a thing I didn't know about Brian. But, he got a lot of things that, we remember about him, and we just want to honor it today.
Yeah, and on a serious tip, like we really just want to keep his legacy alive. His kids, his wife, his mom, his sisters. We really, really love you guys. If you ever need us, just let us know.
Right.
But we want you guys to see how much Brian has impacted so many lives just by being himself, So here is As I Knew Him. Are you excited?
I'm ready.
I'm super excited. Let's get it.
All right.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future.
Brian was the youngest of my 5 children. He was sort of surprised, but he was well received once he got here. And the children, they kind of spoiled him a little bit. Not too much, but some. He was always real active. His main thing was climbing up on everything. His favorite place to climb was from the stool on the kitchen counter. Then he learned how to climb up everywhere else. It scared us to death one time, got on the ladder. After his dad had came in the house and climbed up on the roof and had us frightened to death. So he was always a very active child. And at an early age, Brian had a habit of coming here playing on our piano we had at that time. And I finally got one of my co-workers to teach him music. And so he did real well with that. Yeah, Brian was just a regular child. He was always, he was mindful. He wasn't disobedient, but like I said, just a typical child, typical teenager. No worse and no better than anybody else's. But anyway, all the other children had left home they grew old and left, so for a good little while it was just Brian and I and his dad here. But however, Brian grew up to be a pretty nice young man, if I say so myself. I thank God for letting Brian be with us for as long as he did. So Brian, I will always miss you. And may you rest in peace. Mama.
I knew Brian as a son-in-law, better yet, a son in love. Not to be mean, but he was not like a son to me. He was the best, sweetest, kindest son-in-law or son-in-love. I now know where Aubrey gets it from. He got it from his daddy, who would affectionately ask me often, "You good, Donnie?" I just knew Brian was the one when I was introduced to him a couple of years after he and Adriana started dating. He came to me and said, "I just don't know if I can do this because she's just extra and she's just energetic and she's just a lot." And you know what I told him? I said, "Brian, stay with me, Brian, with me, stay with me, because I will be the best mother-in-law you could ever have." He just wanted to take care of his family. I will miss my Brian. his silliness, his beautiful voice, his country boyisms, his sweet smile, and especially his sweet love.
Brian has played such a huge role in my life, even though the last few years I got to serve as one of his pastors. But prior to that, I gave my heart to Jesus February 3rd, 2002, 11:17 a.m. And Brian was one of the first men that I actually met when I got saved.
He pushed everybody without saying too many words. You know, he pushed me to strengthen my faith when we were doing praise team, and I'm so thankful for that.
The choir, man, I can't even start on the choir. He was like a breath of fresh air for our choir. He just brought a whole new sound that I wasn't aware of.
Brian had good character as a musician. He taught music real well. He knew how to flow and play along with the service.
I got to know Brian as a good Christian man whose belief in faith was strong, and there were many times he pushed me to keep my chin up and have that faith.
From the moment the Davis Glover family met Bryant, we just felt that he's always belonged, and he just fit right in.
Brian was a big brother to me, and I was definitely the spoiled little sister. We bumped heads a few times, not gonna lie, but he truly loved me, and I loved him more than, probably more than my sister, and I was glad he came in her life.
In our music room, with my silent cymbals and my pads. He was the pianist of 2 churches.
He was like a father to me because I really don't have like a father present in my life. And he was like the main, male figure there for me.
Daddy gonna ride his bike and Daddy in me bed and Daddy me take a look and Dad is me take a look.
He was an uncle to me because he fixed everything.
What did he fix?
The door, when Coy was running, he fixed it.
Being a young man growing up, a lot of us don't listen to our father, mainly because we think he old, times is different. But with Brian being so close in age to me, he is somebody I could go to and get wisdom from, because in my head, he was just in the shoes that I was in. He can point me in the right direction, and that's something that he did, and it helped me get to where I am now.
He never made us, because there was a group of us, feel like we were little kids or we weren't important. He always was kind to us, and as we got older, Brian started hanging out with us, and he realized we were really cool.
I know this. Being around them, our kids playing together, getting to know each other, growing up, honestly, we built a real close bond. He was more like my brother, the older I got.
Brian was always willing to help any ways he could, whether it was church, work, or home.
To know Brian was the norm, you know what I mean? Anybody that knew him, you loved him instantly. He was a one-of-a-kind guy, man. And I feel like, you know what I mean, his presence, you know what I mean, that'll never be replaced. There'll never be another Brian.
Me and Brian have been playing keys and drums together for a minute, and man, it's just like, it seems so unreal, man. Like, I go to church every Sunday, and then I don't see my brother.
One thing about Brian, he loved to laugh and have a good time. This cat loved the song I Should Wear a Crown. That's one song that I played at the Hill. But on Fifth Sunday, he had a chance to hear our choir sing it. So when I tell you, this man would text me at least once a month asking me, T, what's the name of that song? I know I ask you all the time, what's the name of that song? I'm like, bro, if you ask me one more time, it's I Should Wear a Crown.
Him and Chris got on the dance floor a couple of times together, but it was this one time that Chris was on the dance floor, like really cutting up. And Brian was in the corner with his nephews, and they caught him on the dance floor. They started talking about him, and Brian really got into it, put that smile on his face, and he was just gazing at Chris. Like, I think he was really proud of the genetics he passed on to him, because all of that foolishness on that dance floor was nothing but Brian.
He was also somebody that always bragged about me sometimes, like talked about how proud he was of me, being at, like playing football for Thompson and being on varsity and all that stuff and winning a championship. He was one of my favorite people to be around, like to be chill. He like, and then we had the same type of music taste. We listened to the same music. We really bonded, connected. It's just in that way we're connected with the stuff that we watch and the music we listen to and just the stuff we do in general.
When we did hang out, he was like really funny. He'd say random noises, and I don't really want to say it, but it was just random noises. And we played like basketball together, we ate together, we hung out together. And when I didn't hear the news, I was like really sad, but overall, he was like amazing to me.
A silly movie that we watched together about a fly. And it was so insignificant, and a movie probably nobody's probably ever seen. But we laughed so much at that movie for days.
I always admired the man that he was to his family and loved ones, and I pray I can be that same model for my people. I love you, bro, and I'm gonna miss you.
You were a brother that was always steady in his faith and present in his work, and also a very loving, stable husband and father. Thank you for your example, Brian Jones. You will be greatly missed, and we look forward to seeing you on the other side.
It's very interesting to do. Brian was not Brian in our house. Brian was Bay. Everybody knew him as Bay. The kids slipped up and started calling him Bay at one point or one time or another. And everybody knew that was my name for him. Brian was very, very silly. However, he was extremely reserved. And I am loud and fun. So you can imagine the push and pull of our personalities in the house. He really had a big heart. He was very macho. And he didn't want it to be known all the time, but he really, really did have a big heart. We were not always the best of friends, but I truly loved him with all my heart. I gave him everything that I had. I gave him, and it took some getting used to being with somebody that love as hard as I do, and it was not always easy, but he really, really tried. He really, really tried, and just in these past few years, I feel like we was just starting to get that good flow, so this is the biggest curveball, but I know I probably couldn't do that with nobody else. I always say he got the best of
my years, he was able to come in and, with his reserved personality, calm me down a whole lot. And Brian probably saved my life. He probably don't know, but he really probably saved my life from a lot of stuff. And he provided like a maniac. Like, he was very traditional when it came to providing for me, providing for his children, providing for the home. He worked his butt off. I would say the other word, but gonna keep it classy. He worked his butt off for us, and it was never a time where I felt like I didn't have my husband to fall back on. Even when we weren't getting along, I never felt like he wasn't going to pull the weight as a man in my home. And I don't know, like I feel like the kids are going to end up being just like him, and only knowing him for a short while, they already have his mannerisms. They already know everything that he does, without knowing that those are the things that he did. It's crazy. But that was Bae. He was the yin to my yang, like for real. And I miss him. I miss my man. I miss him so much. You know, even now it just seems so unreal. But I know that he fought for this. He fought for us on a spiritual level, on an emotional level, on a physical level. But to know that I got to experience him, to experience these past 14 years with a man like that, I'm blessed. I am. I'm blessed. I'm not always the easiest person. I know I'm not. And I know he put up with a lot. You know, we ain't here to talk about him in that light. But he put up with a lot for me. So I'm so appreciative of him wanting to be with me, wanting to love me, and proving that time after time. So I love you, babe.
Jesus.